Hello again and thanks for joining. Today we've got 3 Roco wagons to have a look at, and they're all these intermodal wagons, but they have different variations. The 2 below are operating as well wagons because they've got trailers fitted to them, and the one above has got swap bodies fitted. 2 are of the Hupak livery in the grey, and the bright orange one is in TRW livery. Slight differences on one of the boxes, but they've all been made in around about the same time by Roco. So we're going to have a look at each of them in turn. We'll start off with the one at the top. So this one came with some instructions about the deep well flat car, and you can see that it has the truck trailer there instead of these swap bodies. So this is obviously generic for the wagon and not the load. We also have quite an extensive amount of little extra parts that we can add onto this wagon in this little bag here. Never been fitted before, but there's certainly a lot of extras that you can add onto your wagon, and these all look really delicate as well. So if you do fit these, you're going to have to be careful handling it. So here is the wagon, and one thing that's really noticeable is how secure these swap bodies are on this wagon. I can actually tip it on its side and they don't fall off, so that's quite impressive. And it looks quite colourful as well with these two in the orange and the blue. They've both got the same logo, obviously a Swiss company here, and they're fitted onto this grey wagon which has got a whole wealth of details down here printed onto it, the Hupak logo and all these numbers as well. You can see this one says SBB CFF and the running number there, but the detail just goes on and on and on with that printing. That's also indicative of the moulding on this wagon, which has got a lot of detail moulded into it. It's actually made in metal here with some plastic parts added onto it, including this part here, the well part where the trailer's wheels would go in. We'll see that on the other wagons. But these 2 swap bodies have been fitted on these little frames, but they do come off fairly easily, and even open up there if you want to take the tarpaulin off. Nice bit of detail on here. It looks very convincing as a truck body. It's got some planking details and all the little tie downs for the tarpaulin, which looks quite good, I think. It's even got little creases on the roof here. It does have a bit of a moulding mark in the middle, but it's not really that pronounced, and the printing is not too bad at all. It's quite tricky to get a yellow printed onto a colour, and you can see that here on the end here. You can see some of the blue coming through, so it looks a bit like green, but it's not too bad. The lettering is very clear, and the masking also is clear as well, and there's no fuzziness. Underneath it's even got rib detail here as well as the planking, and you can see the Roco logo. It's quite a nice little moulding that for a load on this wagon. The wagon as well is very detailed. The bed has got a lot of features here that have been moulded in. All these little studs along the end here where you can fit these plastic parts in to support swap bodies, and down here more detail in the well as well. The couplings are cantilever and you can see them operating if the wagon is empty, but it's not really that intrusive, and it is moulded in the same colour, so it's not too bad. Coupling is on a NEM pocket there. Nice detail on the buffer beam, a little bit of rivet detail, not too much, but you can see some holes there which obviously matches to parts in the bag of extras. But it's really the side of this wagon where the whole detail comes to life. There's so much going on here. All the bracing has been faithfully reproduced, and there's even some pipe work as well added in here. The bogies are quite nice as well. The brake gear is in line with the wheels, nice spring detail, and the wheels are a bit smaller than normal. Fairly free running, they do catch a little bit at times, so if you have rough track, these bogies might actually foul the underside of the wagon. The bogies are just held on with plastic studs, which also hold in the cantilever operation on this coupling here, and that's got a little spring there as well. So a really cool looking wagon, I think. Lots of options to run this with or without the bodies on it, and it would look really interesting without, because you could see straight through here onto the track as it's going along. So let's get one of the other ones out. So I've just gone ahead and got both the other 2 wagons out, and they come with extra parts as well. A couple of slight differences on the grey one of the one we've just seen, and obviously the orange one is very different in colour, and it seems to have some problems with the paintwork as well. It looks as though it's been rubbed off here and there. But let's have a look at these closer up. I'll start off with the grey one. So this is essentially the same moulding as the one we've just seen. However, this one has been fitted with a truck trailer. It's a canvas-sided Danzas one in bright yellow and blue, typical of the Danzas colours. It also seems to have been fitted with some of the extra parts, including this guardrail up here in the little platform and these additional handrails, so it gives you some idea of the extra amount of detail that can be added onto these wagons. And it's held quite securely. It's not quite as secure as the swap bodies. You're certainly able to hold it at quite an angle and it doesn't fall out. At this end it does have an additional little part here, and these parts fitted, which we saw the holes for on the other wagon. So all very delicate. These could very easily get broken, so you're going to have to be careful handling these wagons. There's no other detail changes on the wagon. It's essentially the same as the one we've just had a look at. Let's get this truck trailer off here. So it just pulls off quite easily. We've got some landing gear here, which allows it to sit nicely if you had this maybe in a yard beside the railway. It also has a movable little crash bar at the back, very prototypical, and that's quite nice that they've added that in. There is some additional printing at the back here with the red, and you've got the Danzas logo, and the tarpaulin cover comes off quite easily. You've even got some planking detail in there. We do have a moulding mark though. I guess it's not designed to have this piece taken off, but it does allow you to see that it has some really good detail moulded into the side of the trailer, including all the little studs for the tarpaulin tie downs and the brackets for these parts here. Not so much on the chassis of this trailer, quite plain. Wheels not too bad, it even says Michelin on the tyres, which is quite cool. So it's a bit of a mix and match. I think they could have done a bit better on the chassis, but overall quite a convincing trailer. So turning our attention to this orange one, we have a Novatrans trailer, essentially the same as the Danzas one, just slightly different colour. This part is actually quite cool because it can slide up and down here to accommodate different sizes of trailers. This wagon is the same moulding as the grey ones, but we do have black bogies on this one, and obviously the orange paintwork. This one seems to be a Belgian wagon, and it's a TRW logo. Again, a wealth of printed material down the side of this. But you can see that a lot of the orange has been chipped off this. This is because this is made of metal and it's taken a few bashes in the past, I guess. This was a second-hand purchase. Aside from the colour and the printing, this is exactly the same wagon as we've already seen. And this trailer is exactly the same as the Danzas one, with the flip-down crash bar at the back, same kind of colours, the tyres and the landing gear. And the printing isn't too bad on this. However, it's not perfect. You can see a little bit of fuzziness in the Novatrans logo, especially down here. And you can see that it isn't actually quite that solid either, but it's not too bad overall, and the combination of the two works really well. So let's put the wagon on the scales and we'll see how much that weighs. So the wagon on its own weighs 67 grams. So it's been really interesting for me to have a look at these wagons today. Roco have obviously produced one wagon here and offered it in a number of different variations, and I think they've done it really well. It offers many different kind of combinations for intermodal services on your model railway, whether it be with a trailer or with a swap body, or even maybe a container as well. The wagon being made out of metal really gives it some weight and allows it to stay on the track, and yet they haven't compromised on detail because it's got all that bracing detail put onto it, and the printing is absolutely fantastic as well. The trailers and the swap bodies are acceptable mouldings. I wouldn't say they were fantastic, but they're certainly good enough, and it comes together to make a really interesting and attractive model. If you're modelling European modern day intermodal traffic, then I would really recommend these because they are so iconic of what you would see these days. There's enough variation here to make a really interesting train if you had a number of these, and it gives you the option of either running them loaded or empty as well. So a really useful modern image wagon to have. I think these are really great. But that's just what I think. What do you think? Let me know in the comments below what you thought of these wagons, and if you have a favourite as well, I'd love to know. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps this channel grow. I'll put one of these on the turntable so you can see all the way around, and in a moment another video will appear. Just click on that and I'll see you there. But that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. See ya.